Hey everybody, welcome back to IP Farms. Well, it's another beautiful day here on the farm. It's warm, probably about 70 degrees. It rained a little bit this morning. They're saying the sun's going to come back out this afternoon. A lot of humidity in the air. It's kind of damp in here in the shop. But anyway, this is going to be the first video on the engine repair here in the 2000 model F250 that we're doing the four-wheel drive conversion on my service truck. So I think what I'm going to do is do this video kind of like I started out on the two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive conversion, and just try to document as much as I can about what I'm doing and why. If you're new to the channel, you're probably not really aware of what the whole situation is, and I didn't do that on the other one. So let me get some tools rounded up here. As we start working, I'll tell you a little bit of backstory on the reason and why we're doing this and what the prognosis is going to be, and fingers crossed that everything goes well. Stay tuned. Okay, real quick, a little backstory on the trucks if you're new to the channel. One is the 2004 F250, that's the rusty one. This is a 2000 model. Everything's supposed to interchange between those. I think after 2004, it changes a little bit. Bottom line, I bought this truck, the two-wheel drive one, for the parts and pieces to fix the four-wheel drive. When I went and picked it up, I realized how bad the frame was rusty on the four-wheel drive. The exhaust manifolds are just gone, they're rusted, they're broken. And I started on the repair of that and realized real quick just how bad that truck was. So changed my mind once again and did some research that I'm going to go ahead and fix this truck and use the suspension and four-wheel drive, and I'll just have an extended cab instead. So that's where we are. Hopefully you've all seen the first video on the four-wheel drive conversion. Went ahead and attempted that because it makes it a lot cleaner underneath with our twin I-beam suspension gone. Supposedly you can get this oil pan off in the vehicle without pulling the motor. It's really aggravating to pull these 5.4s. You got to pull the intake off. I really don't want to mess with that. The truck runs too good. The air conditioning works. So that's what we're going to attempt. So that's the reasoning behind what we're doing. This motor needs rods and main bearings in it probably. It's got a slight knock. I think the motor's been replaced at some point. It looks way too good to have the amount of miles on it that is showing on the truck. So we're going to swing for the fences. Either way, I've got another good running 5.4 in the other truck up there that's got less than 130,000 miles on it. So if I have to, you know, once I dismantle that truck, I can pull the motor out, set it here in the floor, do the manifolds like I need to do, replace the fuel rails, they're rusty, whatever. We've got enough parts and pieces, we're going to build a truck. So that's what we're doing. So I'm going to put you guys on some time lapse here, and we've got to pull the fan off of it, get the fan shroud out of the way. We've already got the catch can over here to the side. I'm probably going to go ahead and pull the power steering pump off. This one's leaking, I need to replace that. And then I've got a engine cradle that goes across the fender wells. You're supposed to be able to support the motor up 4 to 5 inches, I think, total. Everything clear, and I got to take the throttle body off, and then the oil pan supposedly comes off. So let's see what we can get into. Alright, real quick, I wanted to throw something in there. I did watch a couple videos on this. Pulling the fan loose on these Fords. I don't have the tool. Everybody says shock. All it needs is shock. Well, I was not a believer, but that's exactly what I did. Just put the big adjustable on, took the 2-pound hammer, whacked it about 3 or 4 times. You know, it's tough keeping the wrench on there. There's enough shock to break it loose, so the fan's loose now. So that does work. I've seen people put chains on them and tying the bolts and everything else, but that didn't have to work. Maybe it's a little rusty or something, but anyway, let's get back to it. Okay, well, I don't know if you can hear it or not, but having drained some antifreeze out of it, need to get the top radiator hose off. Trying to cut as many corners as I can. Sometimes it bites you. Again, wasn't a definitive video on YouTube about it, but it's got too much of the fan shroud over here, so I'm gonna take the top radiator hose off, get that out of the way, and then we'll put you back on time lapse and get some other stuff taken apart. hopefully you guys can see. We've got 2 motor mount studs on both sides of the engine cradle, 21 millimeter nuts. We're going to go ahead and pull those loose because the motor's sitting on the cradle. And then we're going to move to the back and take the transmission mount loose and get all the bolts situated. And we'll get up top, hook the engine cradle up, and start winching the motor up a little bit. And I'll go up with the back with the jack. I think the way I understand it, according to the videos on YouTube, the transmission go up, put a 1-inch block underneath it. I'm not sure. I'll just kind of see how everything is. These coolant hoses right here run right beside the oil pan. I drained some of the antifreeze out. I didn't drain it all. I'm gonna try to get, I think I can get to the nuts for the oil pan with those in there. So I'm gonna put you on some high speed, and we'll get all these nuts and bolts loose, get the jack back there, get the transmission loose, and then we'll go back up top and see if we can get going with the engine cradle. Okay, more talking. What we did was I pulled the alternator off the center. Again, couldn't find anything definitive. This front timing cover piece is all aluminum. It's got several studs sticking out and places that I could put a bolt in. I didn't want to chance anything on aluminum, so we went down here where the alternator bolts. This is part of the block itself. These are whatever equivalent, 125 or whatever of 3/8 bolts. It's a little close here with my adjustment, but I think it'll work out pretty good. I don't think it'll swivel much. It's not going to have quite as much stability as if I went out to the side, but like I said, I mean, there's a stud over here, but you know, the head's aluminum. No, the head's not aluminum. Well, yeah, I think the head is aluminum, but due to the fabrication I had to do, which you'll see on another video, I can't go there. So I've seen this done like this, so we're just going to chance it and see. So I think what I'm going to do is put you guys down on the bottom and let you watch the motor mounts come up and see if I can get this at least. We've got about that much stud sticking down. I'm going to see how it feels once I get up completely out of the cross member, and then I'll look for clearance and all back here, and we'll go from there. All right, well, that was a success. We got quite a bit of clearance under the engine cradle. I got some 2x4 blocks under the motor mounts and let the tension back off. Got a 2x4 block under the transmission. So there's no real definitive answer on how high it's got to be to get it out. So I think what I'm gonna do is put you guys back on high speed. Let me get these oil pan bolts out. You got to pull the pan down so far, and then I think it's 2 8mm and 1 10mm bolt to hold the oil tube pickup. Get that loose, and then jockey it around and see if we've got enough room. And if we're successful getting the pan off, then we'll just wrap this video up as oil pan removal. And the next one you see on the engine will be the bearings going in, hopefully. Cross your fingers. Well, there it is. It's out. Ended up having to jack the motor back up off the 2x4, so it's basically got to have about a 4.5 inch gap between the cross member and the bottom of the motor mount to get the oil pan out. I don't know if you can see up there in the left hand corner of the screen, but that's 4 rod caps off already. It's not good. I'll explain in a minute. Well, here's the culprit. I did a shake test on it before I pulled them loose, figured out which one had the most slop in it, pulled it out. It's not good. It went round and round. Means it spun. So I don't know, I gotta do some checking now, but I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but there's shrapnel all on the side. Both rods on the back 2 cylinders on each side spun. The rest of them look awesome. I pulled well, I've got all off but 2. Bearings look good. You know, it's got a few places in it where some shrapnel went through it, through the oil system, but I don't know, kind of changes things up. Okay, everybody, we're gonna wrap this one up and call it a video. Tutorial on how to get the oil pan off 2000 Ford 5.4 liter in the truck. I got a few advantages having the front end out from under there, a whole lot less pieces and parts, but you know, it is doable. If you've got access to a lift or engine crane, you wouldn't have to worry about this whole support bar system, but the bottom line is you can raise it up enough to get the oil pan off of it, and that's the main thing. So that was a success. Figured out the problem where the knock was. Had a feeling it was a rod bearing. It was. Not liking the fact that it spun. We'll just have to do some research. I got to do some thinking on it. And these Ford motors are a little foreign to me. If it was small block Chevrolet or something like that, you know, it'd already be back together. But I do have another good motor. I just wanting to do all that swapping. I've done some sketchier stuff in the past, so you know, I'll keep you guys informed on what I decide. I got to mic the rod and see how bad it's egg shaped. If it is, fingers crossed it's not. If it's not, then we'll probably go back together with it. But anyway, that'll be for another video, another day. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you got any questions or anything, if you're new to the channel, you know, just came across this looking on how to do it, drop them down in the comments. I'll be glad to answer them best I can. Really appreciate everybody's support throughout all this. I know it's probably a little boring to some, but you know, I wanted to capture it while I was doing it, and that's what we're doing here at the farm right now. So thank you all for watching. Please consider subscribing if you hadn't already. Hit that thumbs up button if you like what you see. Thumbs down, I understand it's not for everybody. Share the videos, get them out there. Might be somebody else interested in a little bit of this. You know, it's definitely a doable process in a driveway in a small shop with a limited amount of tools like I have. So hopefully it helps somebody in the future. Until next time, thank you.